Hello, dears. Welcome to Each Page Flow. I'm Sela, and this is episode 17, or episode 7 of season 2. It will be dedicated to Horimiya. Horimiya is a manga and anime, but the original was a web series and an OVA by Hero. The manga was adapted by Daisuke Hagiwasa, or something like that. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. He did the manga under supervision by Hiro, which was the original author. The manga had 16 volumes or so, 17, and there was some that had more. And it was available from 2011 to 2021. I first watched the anime, which is 13 episodes, and it was aired in 2021. This anime manga is high school life, young adult, romance, and some way. But one of the most surprising parts is that it's shonen, which is mostly targeting young men, and instead of shoujo, which is for young women. So this is one of the examples that it doesn't matter the main demographic is not targeting, because you can watch it and still like it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Horimiya, as I was saying, it was first a webcomic or web series, which was self-published by the author by Hero on their site, and then later it got serialized into a manga, and then the anime in 2021. But today I'm gonna focus on the manga and anime, which is what I have seen since I discovered this one in like 2023, I think. It wasn't last year, so I don't really remember. I just know that I was a recommendation on Crunchyroll for Horimiya, and I was like, it sounds interesting. So I hit play and watched the whole 13 episodes at once. I really binge watched this one. The main story follows Hori-san, or Hori Kyoko, a girl in high school that tries to hide her personal life, but not in an active way. Just like she doesn't want people in high school to know her private business. And when she's there in school, she wears makeup and it's all cute, at least to the eyes of her peers, just to speak. But when she's at home, she wears a bun and babysit her little brother, Kut, and everything, because her parents work, and she like take care of the house. And Miyamura, or Miyamura Izumi, and he's like this emo-looking boy who doesn't talk much with others, and after a small incident, ends up meeting Hori's brother, Sota, and he takes him home because he got into a tiny accident with a dog, and it's like, oh my god, is this the guy that goes to school with me? And he's like, Hori, yes, it's me, because he doesn't look nothing like what he's in school. And this is one of the major things visually that you can see online, like when he's with glasses and long hair on his face at school, but outside of it, he's nothing like that. He's more like, I'm gonna show you here. His hair is pulled back, He has piercings all over and everything. It's like a completely different look. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that his personality and how he is. Everyone thinks that he is like otaku and into everything like anime manga. And he says that he is, but not in that super obsessive way. And after this small happenstance, they meet outside of school and start hanging out like that. And of course, Sota, Hori's little brother, does on Miyamura and calls him Oni-chan and tells him to always go visit and everything. And Hori starts to uh, see him more and talk to him, get to know him. And, and yeah, it's like this small thing created a whole domino effect into Miyamura's life and how it changed his, not so much his personality, but more like his way of life at school because he was always alone, and that came from constant bullying since he was a kid. And since he was in middle school because nobody wanted to talk to him, nobody wants to be related to him. And yeah, that was how he became like this. Like, and he went into a shell and didn't want to like talk to anybody, or more like he wanted to keep it to himself. And he thought it would be the same in high school. But after Hori like included him because she's popular, there's no other way to pin that like she is. And she has friends, Yuki and Toru, which are like her friends that are always with her. Also start talking more with Miyamura. And you discover that Toru is in love with Hori and he gets totally rejected by her because he confesses as soon as he sees the Miyamura is always with her and always talking to her. Um, and after all of this, I mean, it is school life, so everything happens at school or at Hori-san's house, but it falls and revolves around that and how they, I don't want to say many things because that is spoiler. And most of what I had to say being saying is in the first episode, the first volume of the manga and the anime. But you get to meet everyone, and it's like they start including these two, and it's about uh, basically what you see in the first episode of the anime is what you get in the rest of half of the 13 episodes. Keep saying 12 because it's usually, if it's a short one, is 12 episodes, but this one is 13 for season 1. I haven't spoken about season 2 because it's not really a season 2 of the anime. It's actually like the missing parts is called, and it's about all the little pieces that they didn't put on this whole one, but they are important in the manga because it's what keeps you reading. Anyways, um, so as is one, the whole story of how Hori and Miyamura fall in love, and how they try to hide how they look outside of school, and they both like keeping their secret from the rest of their friends until they slowly find out, except for Hori, um, which they really don't go too deep into that. And more about Miyamura hiding his piercings and his tattoos because he has a lot of them. Um, then hang out with Senkoku, who is the class president, and his girlfriend Ajasaki, and his other friend and the Sakura, and there's another friend Yura Chu, or who no sé, it's not so much unseen because he's in another class. But I mean, all of them are like super inclusive. They always hang out at school and all of this. It becomes like I'm rambling. I know. Um, it becomes a thing at school that they always hang out and that they like everyone likes everyone in this small group because like Hori likes Miyamura, Miyamura likes Hori, but Toru likes Hori for like half of the episodes, and then Yuki start liking Toru, and then Sakura meets Toru and likes him as well, and then you want to know more uh, about Toru and Yuki because they start to hang out more, and so they do, and it's like this is the story, the other side story that you really want to see. And yeah, that's basically all spoilers. And yeah, I should have brought one about that one. Um, Eventually, Miyamura does confess that he likes um Hori-san, and yes, they start dating. And of course, that brings out even more uh, little moments that happen. And I'm not gonna say all of it because that is spoiler. Um, and I want you to watch the anime because it's awesome. If you haven't watched it, you should really watch it. Um, yeah, I mean there are main scenes that I really enjoy. The first episode, of course, how Hori starts to see Miyamura in a different light after he hangs out with her more and more. Um, she realizes how this guy is totally cool and he's not really good at school, but they start studying together and hanging out a lot. Um, and Hori tells him that she likes all these kind of movies and there's always watching something, and then Sota is not even at the house and they just hang out more alone, and that's how they eventually like spend more time together alone. And another one that I really like, and when we meet Hori-san's father, Kyusuke, because like this totally deal and pardon my language. Um, yeah, uh, I mean, he's a young one, and he's younger than her mother, and he's not there, he's never there, and because he works in this on this location, then nobody knows where he works. Um, and Hori calls him by his name, and it's like a really strange relationship they have, but in the end, they always treat Kyosuke like he's a stranger and always asking him, why are you still here? When are you going back to work? It's a really funny show. I mean, I just remember everything that happens in it, and I cannot recommend it enough. Um, yeah, for the main characters, or his parents, and Sota, that's the whole of the Hoyo family. There are four of them. And the funny thing is that they just get Hoyo's no mother, which name I do not remember in this moment. Um, they they went to high school with Sengoku's parents, so they knew each other the whole time. And Sengoku is the class president. And when they started high school, he told Hori to treat him better because she was like always treating him like a lucky when they were kids. And he told her to go easier on him. Sorry. And yeah, that's that part. Um, Ayasaki Raimi, who is Sengoku's girlfriend, she is like this super cute girl that every guy wants to date, and because of that, she felt like everyone was like after her. This is all details. They're a little more in depth in the manga. It's not a big difference between manga and anime, but yeah. Nagasaki falls for Sengoku because they start bonding over books and hanging out more. And they start dating. I think they've been dating since the middle school, perhaps, or since the year high school started. It's not really that all that clear. I am probably is on the web series or on the OVA, but I haven't watched the OVA or read the web series, so I cannot say for sure. And after a small incident, Sakura, Ayasaki's friend, she bumps into Toru and they start talking more and like that's the perhaps the silliest one of them all, how she falls for him. But she doesn't confess as far as I remember. And they end up, you know, not being together. And more so when Yuki and Toru start hanging out more because Hori is dating Miyamura. And I'm saying everything that happens in this thing, this turning it into a full spoiler but still. When Yuki and Hori start Toru and Yuki start hanging out more, and they hang out at his house because apparently he's a not a rich kid per se, but sort of. And it's like it's obvious that they're hanging out and eventually dating, but they're not actually dating. So you are left hanging with a part with Toru and Yuki. Yeah, I mean the anime is pretty freaking straightforward, and you really do enjoy following the dynamics of them all. And when I finished it, I was really curious to see if the manga was the same, and it was. And then after reading the manga online, I decided that I had to make collection, and that's how I started to buy all of the volumes. I only have 3 right now, I believe. There's been a lot of manga buying last year, so I cannot remember exactly. And yeah, they're great. I mean, I was surprised at how much I like them, even if they're so simple. Because I have seen online that people are like, they really like this. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's a pretty good story, and you can relate with some of the characters, and it's really. I would say it's a masterpiece, but pretty freaking close, and you can watch it without getting bored of it. If you read the manga, you start to like, wow, this is really something easy to fall into the flow of this manga, and I really really like it. That's obvious for how long I've been speaking about this one. It's been a while since I did this. I'm almost done because I know I've been talking about everything that happens in it, but this is how much I liked it. You can see that by going to the blog and seeing all the photos and videos I have here on YouTube and Instagram, and some of the edits that I have on TikTok as well. Yeah, do I recommend it? Obviously, I do. If you like high school drama and if you like young adult romance, because nothing's so specific in this one. They it's it's a controversy, but not really, about whether or not they end up together in the end, and if they kiss and if they sleep together, and all of the answer to all of that is yes. And neither the anime nor the manga are just on-screen stuff. So you can watch it and be like, this really happened or didn't that happen? And yeah, I mean, I cannot recommend it enough. I gave it 5 stars, and to the manga and to the anime. And I always go back to it since I first watched the anime. And yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you for listening to it. And if you'd like to know more spoilers or see my written review of Horimiya, you can on the blog hpay.org. And thank you for listening to my rambling about this one. I really enjoyed talking about it. And you can leave a comment or let me know on a DM on social media, on Instagram, or on the blog. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more. The last episode will be dedicated to a really good one, and I hope you don't miss it. And that's really it for Horimiya. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Each Page Float. And thank you again for watching and for listening to me rambling about yet another manga and anime all combined into one. Thank you, dearies. See you on the next one.